Hello everyone, it's Jeb Hamwerger from GoldStockTrades.com. Today's Thursday, October 18th, 2018. I wanted to give an important update. I know I've been quiet for a while as we've been seeing the same sort of continuation of this trend of stocks going much higher, commodities and precious metals being hit lower this summer. But we may have seen a turning point this October. We're beginning to see the rise of interest rates to levels not seen in many, many years. So that means a lot of these debts, student loans, margin debt, auto loans, mortgages are all under pressure right now, especially for the people that are heavily in debt. This is causing the beginning of a deleveraging. We're seeing the U.S. dollar very strong because investors are looking for liquidity. So this past week, the stocks have been hitting highs, and there's been a record short position on precious metals as investors have just been overly leveraged with margin to the stock market. But we're beginning to see this breakdown. We're seeing new lows in the home building stocks, in the automobile sector. And we're expecting new lows in the bank stocks soon. And as you can see here, this past week we've had lots of selling, and major selling in October. Crashed down to the 200-day. We've had a little bounce, but now we have more selling. So we're going to see if this 200-day moving average, which is held in the past, if it can bounce off this oversold level, or are we going to continue lower? Now, we are getting into a favorable period for stocks after we get through the month of October. So we may see a bounce here at the 200-day moving average. Maybe a election day sort of Christmas holiday season rebound. So we are going into a favorable period, but we need to be cognizant to the fact that many sectors, including the home builders, which is a precursor to possibly what we saw in 2008, once the home builders started crashing before the banks, we're beginning to see the home builders hitting new lows. And we're beginning to see the automobile companies, Honda, Toyota, Ford, GM, all hitting new lows. We're seeing also the lithium sector and the battery metals concerns in China. So we are closely monitoring the S&P if this 200-day moving average will hold here, or if we are in the beginning of another 2008. So we need to be very carefully monitoring what's going on right now in the markets. Now, during this market crash, I have now put up the chart of the GLD, the gold ETF. Many investors thought, hey, when the stock market eventually crashes, it's very high. Everyone realized it was high, it was overexpensive, it was overvalued. So they thought, hey, last year people were debating when the stock market eventually crashes, will gold hold or will crypto hold? Well, right now we're seeing one of the few areas that's holding up is the gold market. And if you look here, we've been in it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months in a downtrend. And we finally have a breakout on the highest volume in the past year. So a huge amount of rotation from stocks to gold this past week. And right now we're consolidating a little bit up here towards the high part of that breakout range. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few more legs higher, especially if the S&P 500 is unable to hold that 200-day moving average. Similarly with the GDXJ, when the stock market finally started correcting, we saw the highest volume breakout, and you could see a beautiful inverted head and shoulders here, and a breakout from that neckline on huge volume, on the highest volume in the past year. And you see the momentum has actually been increasing since the summer. So again, we're consolidating towards the higher part of the range like gold, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see the beginning of that we're in the beginning stages of a significant rally and a trend change here. We may see the S&P hold up until the end of the year for the holidays, or we're going to see another 2008. So we need to pay close attention to the markets right now. Right now, I'm betting that the tide is turning. I'm investing in the juniors and the high quality exploration stories, which are active, which have good management, and which are beginning to tell their story to a larger audience. Please make sure to follow my Twitter feed at Gold Stock Trades, where I highlight a lot of the recent news and updates that are companies that I'm following. One that person that I followed for many years, one of the my major wins for my subscribers in the last cycle, Frontier Gold, which was eventually bought out for Newmont for over $1 billion with the Long Canyon deposit in Nevada. Mark O'Day was the CEO there, and he has a great track record. So I'm closely following he's drilling up in BC a carbonate-hosted deposit, which have been a lot of his wins, and a copper and gold potential discovery there that has 2 drill rigs on this season. So that the 2 symbols are LLC on the venture and SUNM on TSX Venture. And I told a few people about this at the conferences, and no one heard of it yet. So that's a good thing for us who are looking for high-quality people, high-quality projects. Steve Robertson, who's working with Mark O'Day, comes from Imperial Metals, knows BC really well. Keep an eye on LLC and SUNM. LLC and SUNM, it's a $5 million drill campaign. It's understood to be one of the largest exploration programs in BC this season. Another silver stocks are really cheap right now. Silver, the gold to silver ratio is at an all-time high. 80 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. That's very high. Silver is completely out of favor. Real contrarian play. One of our favorite ones in the U.S., Viscount Mining, gapped up to the 200-day moving average, and this could be a very interesting target. Between 1987 and 1990, Tenneco did a feasibility on the project and was announced plans to construct a 35 million mine at Silver Cliff before it became taken out and went into other businesses. But still, there's extremely high grade silver at this project. Plus, they have a very interesting project, the Cherry Creek, which is just south of Long Canyon in the eastern part of Nevada, which had Sumitomo as a partner, and which has some exciting upside. I hope to hear some developments with possible strategic partners taking those projects forward in 2019. I'd like to say congratulations to Treasury Metals, symbols TML on the Toronto TSRMF, run by Greg Ferrin, CEO. They announced a 1.2 million ounce gold equivalent measured and indicated mineral resource with a 64% increase in the measured and indicated. It's one of the cheapest, lowest cost gold mines at the feasibility stage in Canada, and should be followed, especially if gold begins to bottom here. I think it's right between the Rainy River New Gold Deposit, which is being developed, and the Red Lake District, and it's one of the most advanced, highest grade, undeveloped projects. It's the cheapest enterprise value, one of the cheapest enterprise values in the market right now, so it should be studied. Finally, I came across two stories this summer run by the same CEO, W Capital and Casa Minerals. The GO, who's spent his career in BC, optioned W with Hudbay, and they are exploring the Hat project for copper discovery. And Casa Minerals this week had the highest volume since the stock started at the end of 2017, only has less than 40 million shares outstanding. And they came out with finding a polymetallic vein system, high grade, 20 kilometers north of Terrace in the Golden Triangle, BC, Canada. Casa Minerals, CASA on the venture, rock samples returned over 570 grams per ton gold, over 100 grams per ton silver. So lots of interest, and this is from a CEO who can get deals done with majors. Please remember to read my disclaimer. I own shares in these companies, and these companies are website sponsors. So I'm going to increase the visibility. Some of these companies are website sponsors. So please be aware, I'm not a registered investment advisor. Junior mining stocks are very risky. Gold is risky. Some of these stocks, I own shares in them. I could benefit if these companies go up in value. And finally, make sure to subscribe to my website. Make sure to hit the subscribe now button to subscribe to my free newsletter, so you can get this timely analysis, these chart studies, and these interviews with some exciting stories that I've learned over the years since the late 90s, the people and the stories that can gain traction in both bull and bear markets. Again, it's Jeb Hanwerger from goldstocktrades.com. Thanks for hearing this update this week, October 18th, 2018. Stocks under pressure, gold, money coming into gold in the junior miners, highest volume in the past year, some important developments. Make sure to subscribe now to my free newsletter so you don't miss out on any important information.